gosh. Hello, welcome back. So sorry, my computer Wi-Fi just went out in my whole apartment. So here we are.
So Lex. So sorry.
Don't know what that means. I'm Sarah. That's Jay. We're just gonna keep going on. We didn't really talk about much, so it's fine. I did forget to mention that we do not recap every point. We just kind of like to talk about what we want to talk about. So it's like a conversation with two friends about The Bachelor, and let's finish. Kendall and Joe. It really just turned out to really be nothing. Anything else on that? That's all I have to say about that.
I don't know. It turned out to be nothing, and you could kind of feel the disappointment with production when it did not go the way that they wanted it to go.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We still got like 3 or 4 weeks left. So
yeah,
I mean, there's plenty of time. There could be some. I mean,
there is.
It's definitely not done between those two.
You can tell they still, have a love for each other. Like they still have feelings. Like they don't go away. Like
right. But I will say one thing. I really do. I feel awesome. I love Joe, and this is what won me over 100%. When she's like, when he says that, how she was like, I'm not gonna move somewhere for a man, and he just straight up is like,
guy.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I'm out. I'm doing my thing pretty much.
He also said like, I wasn't just a guy. Like. I was.
Bottom line is he didn't let her grab his nuts and hold him down. God. You know what I mean? That's my point. Like he didn't.
He still did what he. Yeah,
he still did what he wanted to do. A weaker man would have been like, "Oh, well, I'll just stay here for you, baby." It's like, no, man. A relationship is give and take, and he even said it there. I just wanted you to try, or I wanted to talk to you about trying. She wasn't even willing to have a conversation about trying it. I mean, you're 2 steps. There are 2 steps from where you are now. You are 2 steps in between moving there and staying there forever. But she didn't even explore into those 2 steps. So I'm with him. I'm like, well, I mean, hey, later.
Yeah.
Shit I want to do too.
I mean, if she wasn't willing to move, like there's nowhere else their relationship could go. You know what I mean? Like, that's just it was gonna end. Either he was gonna be unhappy and resentful because he didn't move back and they didn't try it, or they were gonna break up. Like that was just really kind of the options. I don't know if it got cut off earlier, but what I was trying to say is I think I think why we didn't see this big explosion is because it was just supposed to kind of be a conversation between them, just to kind of, we have to talk about this, clear the air, but that really wasn't Kendall's intentions, wasn't to win him back. Maybe she was kind of hoping it could have happened, but I think she really was there to enjoy the experience, and they just had to put that out for us to watch, like, so we were caught up. But yeah, let's talk another quick kind of thing, the Kenny, Mari, Demi stuff, because Mari told Kenny that she really likes him and they made out. The thing about watching this show that I think was really important is that it is definitely edited, but the fact, I think what's hard to remember is when we're watching these like weeks apart is that the stuff, this date, like the stuff on this Monday's episode was stuff that ended on last week's date. Right. You know what I mean? So it's all the same day. It seems like, oh, this is like a week apart because that's how we're watching it. But it's literally like a couple hours after everything. Yeah. They're only there on the beach for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And it's spread out. Like they'll say, oh, last week. But I think it's like 3 days rose ceremony, 3 days rose ceremony. I think that's all it is. So it's not like they spend 5 days together, then they have a rose ceremony for 6 weeks. Like the show's trying to make it. It's much shorter. So there's a lot happening at once, obviously.
What's that dude's name again? The band boy guy, Nikki?
Kenny. Nikki? That's a good one.
I don't know. On a serious note, like, because I joke around a lot. For real though, in my opinion, I think Kenny's a slut, and I find it to be unattractive. And I'm not like trying to be sarcastic or there is no underlying message or point here. I'm a man, and I am saying, as a man that I am, and how I feel, and the way I feel about relationships and stuff like that, and I personally think that Kenny's a fucking slut, and I think it's unattractive. As a guy watching another man court women, it's a turnoff for me from man to man. Like, dude, that's not a guy that I would ever want to hang out with. That's not the type of person I would ever want to hang out with. But I mean, but then again,
I have nothing.
It's a show.
Yeah.
And everybody, you're going there knowing that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
But I said it, man. I think Kenny's a fucking slut.
Yeah. No comment. I don't really.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, for me personally, that's not what I'm into.
Yeah.
I think monogamous relationships. I'm into being friends first, building a foundation, and then going, and then building the house as you go. And that's why I'm single, because most chicks, they don't. It's like, I don't know. Why would you, if you buy a beautiful piece of land, right, and you have all these dreams and you envision, I want to build a house, I want to have garden over here, I want all this stuff, why would you be like, okay, well, let's build the house directly on the ground, and then after the house is built, hopefully the foundation will work out and the house will stay stable. That's the whole, like, how chicks tend to do the, like, we're friends thing. First of all, if a chick tells you that we're friends, that's a fucking lie. She's just not attracted to you, probably physically. It's just the way it is. But
what is happening?
I'm just saying, like, you need to build that foundation, dude. That's the kind of guy I am. So when I'm watching this stuff, I'm just kind of like.
But that's not the purpose of the show, isn't to build a foundation.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that's how I view it. It's through my eyes, I'm like, yo, Kenny, do you? Half of me's like, dude, yeah, bro. Ow. And then the other half of me is like, dude, that's kind of gross.
Well, Demi had a rough time with it. We've said before that Demi is a lot different this season. Yeah. I think everyone's really worried for Demi. Like, all the people, she's getting a lot of, like, hate. I am on the Twitters and stuff. But I think people are really worried and concerned for her, and it seems like she's using her sexuality and, like, her, like, sex appeal, not sexual, but her, like, sex appeal to.
She's using her sexual. I mean,
Yeah, but I don't mean sexuality in, like, her sexual preference. I mean, like, her
using her body in this.
Yes.
Let's just
and there's nothing wrong with that, but
dude, if she wants to do that, that's cool. But I mean, let's be real, dude. She got Kenny because she took him to the boom boom room, and so there she used her body to ensure that he was going to be her guy.
And she even said, like, we had sex, like, we went to boom boom room, we had sex. How are you going to break up with me? How are you going to, like, do this?
That when she saw the breakup coming, she tried to be like, you want to take me to the boom? Right? She's and that's fine if she wants to do that, man. I went to Amsterdam. There's some good looking prostitutes over there, man, for real. But do your thing. But the fact is, she was using her body to try, and to me, that just, there's something wrong with that. Yeah. I mean, use your body for what you want, but, like, to try to win a game show, come on, man.
This is not a game show.
Well,
this is not a game show.
But,
which that can lead into our discussion about the two last couples I really like to talk about. That a lot of people feel like Brendan and Piper and Chris and Alana, Elena, whatever, are looking at this as a game show, as a show, and not really the purpose of it is to find love or whatever. So let's start with Brendan and Piper. Actually, no. I want to start talking about Chris and Alana and Jasenia because I feel like theirs isn't as serious as Brendan and Piper's. So
on what? Okay, you're talking as far as the deception of why they were there.
Yes.
Okay.
So
as far as like doing someone wrong, the other people did over that girl Tammy, I think it is.
Natasha?
Or whatever girl's involved with the other couple. That's
Brendan and Piper?
No, not Brendan and Piper. The other.
Jasenia.
Yeah, her. She got screwed over.
Yeah, I'm saying as far as there's been a lot of talk on Twitter, podcasts, Instagrams, everywhere about how, especially after Tuesday night's episode, about how people were really rallying on the episode to get Chris and Alana out, but not trying to get Brendan and Piper out, and which it seems like that will be dissolved. But I think for me, I don't think Chris and Alana's was as planned out as Piper and Brendan's seemed very like, we have a plan, we are going in, we are being manipulative, where Chris's just kind of seemed, I don't know. Like
Chris's happened way too, in my opinion, way too fast for him and her not to have known that she might at least be, I don't know.
Chris seemed a little...
I look on a little worse, dude. Especially because...
That one worse?
Yeah. Because,
really?
Yes. I mean, that girl... What was the girl Chris was with?
Jasenia.
Okay, Jasenia. For some reason, I keep thinking it was Tammy or something.
No, Tammy was crying about Thomas and Becca.
Okay, whatever. So Jasenia, dude, I actually do feel bad for her. Like on
yeah.
I mean, I feel really bad for her, man. She got totally screwed. That one pissed me off way more than the other one.
Really?
Hell yes.
See, I'm the opposite. I think the Brendan...
Looking at it like it's a game.
It's not a game!
But you're the one... I know.
I think... Okay, fine. Then we'll go back to... I think Brendan and Piper is way worse. I think Chris and Alana wanted to try and be Brendan and Piper, but I think it was funny that it was like both those couples are happening at the same time. Like they were both like deceptive at the same time. I think for me, it kind of seemed like Chris just wasn't as, I don't know. Brendan seemed very sneaky, and it was really bad. Like the whole time, Brendan, and I listened to the podcast that Natasha, I just listened to it talking about her side of it, that there was more conversations, of course, that we didn't see, that he was really reassuring her and that he was like into her and he wanted to into Natasha, wanted to take things slow with her, was using his divorce as kind of like a reason why he wasn't opening up with her, which is all a lie. And in comes Piper.
Wait. I'm sorry. Yeah. Who's the girl that Piper and old dude screwed over?
Natasha.
I'm sorry. That's the one that I think got screwed over the worst.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you Natasha's the one. So it was
the names. I can't.
You're fine.
Right.
It's Brendan and Natasha, who they was like, he's not kissing me, like we're not intimate or whatever. And the whole time there's rumors about Piper and Brendan. And hers was because he was saying nasty things about her. And Piper comes down to go on the date. You can tell that when Brendan and Piper are on the date, like he is trying to speak in code to Piper. And Piper's just like, you're acting different to me. Like, we're here. We can continue what we're doing. Like, totally not understanding that Brendan's like, well, shit. Now everyone's going to know that we came in on, like, together, that this was a plan. I guess we're just going to have to lead into it and really...
Evidently, they didn't realize it because there was no word about them this whole... I was like, dude, are we ever going to see about...
I think it's going to happen next week.
I hope so.
So that's the thing. We're watching this episode, and it's it's unraveling. You're seeing Brendan talk to a producer off screen saying that Natasha didn't have any prospects, that he did her a favor keeping her around, which is like awful, a terrible thing. And the thing that cracks me up with Brendan is that he's like scratching his mic trying to cover it up. So he knows what he's saying is terrible, but I don't think he understands how microphones work, because he would like tap it and think that like you gotta constantly like, you know what I mean? It's not just like, okay, it's off. That's not how they work. Like, I don't understand. Like, I just thought that was funny. And then Natasha's talking to Piper and the stories aren't matching up. And because she's like, how many times did you guys hang out? And Piper's like, oh, we've hung out like 10 times. And she said, well, he told me 2 times. Like, it's not matching up. He talks to Natasha. Natasha said on the interview that their conversation was 2 hours, that we saw very limited. And that, I mean, essentially the biggest thing, he said to her, like, well, I told you it was a friendship, Rose. I was just keeping you around. And she said, no, you never said that. And he said, well, I didn't say that, but you also have selective hearing. And she would just start laughing, and he was looking at her like, why are you laughing at me? Like, it was so like, it was so gross. It was like, dude. And then they're sitting, you see the scene, him and Piper sitting on the couch together, talking about their followers, Piper going off about like, yeah, they've already talked about me. I'm going to get 10,000 followers. Remember when I hit 70K, blah, blah, blah. And they're like scratching the mics. And it was just like, what is happening? Like, what the fuck is happening right now? I think you texted me and said like, why are people why are people more upset with Chris and stuff and not talking about Brendan and Piper as much on the show? Like, why are the other contestants? And it's because like I was looking at all the live tweets going on from all the contestants, and they were all saying like, none of us knew this conversation was happening. None of us knew that they were here to get followers, like, because they were just off. Like, they don't watch the episodes before they come out, so they have no idea until they're watching this episode. So that's why a lot of them like weren't really rallying. Like, I think for Chris, and Joe even said Chris is going around saying him and Jasenia are the strongest couple, that he's here for followers, that you can get all this. Like, he's being very vocal about it, where it seems like the cast just saw Brendan and Piper come in, go on a date, and now they're together. Like, so they're thinking like, okay, they must have been together, but whatever, not knowing that they were just there to get followers. It was all planned. It was all plot. You know what I mean? So I think that's why part of me feels like they'll probably stay around for a while, because no one knows that that's what's really going on, unless maybe, because it seemed like in the previews they start to kind of question them more, unless Natasha starts to bring stuff up or whatever. I don't know. But now it seems people are really upset, like really, really mad, which is understandable.
Yeah, she got screwed. I was wrong. I was thinking I had them mixed up.
Yeah.
Big time. I feel really bad for her.
I feel really bad for her. I would like to say that Bachelor Nation has worked really hard, though. The devil works hard, but Bachelor Nation works harder because of all that. Brendan's Instagram has gone down insanely. Oh yes, let me tell you. I have my notes. Brendan started at 347,000 followers, and now within the past, when I checked the past hour ago, he had 260,000. So he lost 87,000 followers from Monday night, which is crazy. Not Piper. Natasha on Monday night started with 86,000, and she currently has 383,000 followers. So she's way above whatever Brendan started at.
Now, what's Piper's looking like?
Piper was at like 84, I think, and now she's at 77. So she's gone down. But I think a lot of people are really angry more with Brendan, because it seems like Brendan was kind of the mastermind behind it. And speaking on Instagram, because you're not on Instagram, we don't really see all this stuff. Before the episode aired on Monday, they both put out pictures of themselves with like trolling captions, where Brendan was like, here for the wrong reasons. And Piper put out a picture that said all is fair in love and war, which Natasha felt like was fairly disrespectful for her. they have both put out statements from them. Piper is really talked to E! News or US Weekly or whatever, saying that the show is highly edited, that all the conversations aren't real. You can't trust reality TV, does not own up to anything. Brendan said that he's sorry to Natasha, but after, like, he put that out last night. They've all put statements out after the last 2 episodes, after he lost 87,000 followers, which I was one of them, because I remember watching the episode and I'm like, good thing I don't follow this guy. And then I checked and I did. And I was like, oh, crap. So I unfollowed him. But yeah, just people are not happy. But I would like to also say, as human beings, people are taking it way too far and are, of course, saying awful, awful things to Brendan, saying that he's a child predator because he has pictures of his niece and nephews, and people are just saying really nasty things to him that are just not, it's not okay. Like, at the end of the day, these are still people. They're still, like, television people. Like, just unfollow and don't say anything. Like, don't give them death threats or anything. Like, it's unnecessary. Like, calm down. That's what we joke, we talk about them, we make fun of people, but, like, at the end of the day, like, we're not sitting here being like, F you, go, you know what I mean? Because that's awful. That's terrible. So please don't do that. Just move on. Like, we'll never think of them again once this is done. It's fine. They're
Dude, if Kenny wants to make out with 3 different chicks that's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the fact that that I think he's a slut, but that's still cool. Just because I'm not a slut, it doesn't mean that I can't appreciate other sluts. Kenny,
he's getting it. But so Brendan and Piper, it was crazy, and they got the repercussions, and I'm really glad that it seems like Bachelor Nation is really rallying around Natasha, and it seems like all the people that were on the show are just really, like, upset, and I think that's good. 2 more things, I guess. We did have a new host this week. Did you know who this was?
I've heard the name before, but I've never seen him do anything. So
yeah, I've never seen Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I knew he was from that. Titus. Yeah.
I didn't know that was him. Yeah, I've seen the first 2 seasons of that show. So.
Yeah, it's Titus Burgess. He's on Broadway. He does a lot. It was a weird energy. Like, really I loved it. He comes in, he's singing, like, he's, like, putting on a show, which I liked, but I didn't like it for the show. I'm like, this is not what Bachelor in Paradise is. Like, it just felt too, like, sticky for me. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like,
because I felt like David Spade was out of place. I felt like Lance Bass was out of place.
I know. I feel like they're all out of place. Yeah. It was weird.
One who is not out of place. He should host that show.
That's what everyone on Twitter are rallying for Wells to be the host.
He should host it and work behind the bar. Like
double duty.
He should do both. Because
he already does the rose ceremonies. It's so weird.
Yeah. He's a man, dude. I love Wells.
Yeah.
It'd be great to have him on this show, man. That'd be great.
Wells, we love you. They had the VIP or the tight ass party, which was a play on Titus, which is his name, which took me a minute to get that. I was like, why does he keep saying tight ass party? And I'm like, it's a player in his name. What did you think about them only inviting certain people and breaking up the couples? It was very like Love Island.
It's typical production trying to stir the pot.
I loved it. I was like, yeah, stir that pot, baby.
Interesting, but oh man, just when old dude just immediately splits off with that girl. Well, as far as we know, it was because
it seemed to be.
Because we see the edit. It could have been an hour into it. Who knows?
It seemed pretty quick. Yeah, 4 people showed up. McKenna, Alina, Alana. Not Elena. What's her name? It doesn't matter. And Chelsea, who Chelsea came on the beach. I didn't realize she was that tall. She's the model who took Aaron out on the date. with the bleached. I did not realize she was that tall until she was standing next to people. I was like, holy shit. Like, she is so tall. But yeah, the rest of the episode was just all the Chris and Alana. I don't know how to say her name. I think it's Elena.
Alana.
Like Atlanta, but
Atlanta, but it's not Atlanta. It's Alana.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Dude, see, together, we'll get there.
The whole thing was just messy and very confusing. The three of them hung out in the San Diego crew before the filming. Like, everyone's hanging out. That's why they kept saying San Diego. There was like a bunch of them. Katie, Bachelorette Katie before she started filming or after, I don't know. Tammy, Jasenia, Alana, and Chris, and someone else. They all hung out in San Diego. So that's how they all like knew each other and stuff like that. And yeah, it was just messy. Like, Chris just started making out, like, was talking to Alana. They're talking. It definitely seemed like they were talking before this. Like, it felt like Brendan and Piper. Like, because Jasenia said, I wasn't happy to see her. I know she likes him. And to me, it just seemed more like he was really into her. Like, it was already pre-established.
Yeah.
And I think what made people mad, and especially the people at the party, is that Chris didn't really talk to Jasenia about it. He's just kind of like, yeah, he's like, I'll be right back. Or he said, BRB. And then she saw them making out. And then he went up and kind of talked to her. And it wasn't ever very, like, he wasn't like a man. And then he's making out with her, dancing right in front of her. It was just very like, what are you doing? Like,
I'm sorry, but that was classless.
It was.
It really was.
Even if he would have said, "Hey, I'm sorry," would have been straight up like, really into Alana. I'm sorry, whatever, and made out with her after he broke up with her. Still kind of trashy. But the fact that he didn't even like really clear the air ever with her and made out with her was just like, what do you do? Like, what are you doing? Like, gross. Poor Jasenia just goes home. I thought she was gonna like walk back to she just walks out, gets in the van. I'm like, can she do that? Like, she can just leave? Like, I thought she was going home. I was like, is she just leaving? Like, she's just gonna pack her bags. But then we have that great scene when Chris is like, well, the next day, I think that's the other thing that people were pissed about, is that apparently Chris was just moping around the whole thing. It was trying to get people to feel bad for him. And that's where it was kind of like, okay. I think that's what really made people angry. And again, I think that's why people were more up in arms about the Chris and Elena thing, because it seemed like it was more, not in everyone's face, but it was more out there for people to bear witness to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mess. They essentially like kicked them out of Paradise.
Yeah. Oh, straight up. I was like, shit, dude, I didn't realize they could do that.
No.
I didn't know they had the power to do that, man.
This is the first time that's ever happened, I'm pretty sure. Like, so I'm rewatching season 2, and this kind of similar thing happened where there was a guy that showed up, another Joe, showed up, used a single mom to stick around, would lie to her, tell her he's really into her. Her backstory was tragic too. Would lie to her, say he was really into her, but then to the cameras and to the producers the whole time being like, I'm just waiting for Sam to show up. I'm just waiting for this girl. I don't care about her. She's annoying, blah, blah, blah. Like, saying really rude stuff. And I was like, we have another situation like that. But with that, when the girl did show up, she used Joe for his rose and then sent him home once she got the power. It was incredible. But so that's where I kind of thought this was going. But this is the first time I think we've seen them literally get kicked out.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like Survivor. Like, the tribe, they kicked everyone out. Like,
pack your bags and leave.
Pack your bags and leave. Yeah. It was, I kind of really wanted Chris to just like stand up for himself though. Like, when Riley and Joe and Jasenia were like yelling at him, I really just wanted him to just like, he just kind of stood there and just kind of listened to him, didn't really defend himself. Like, I just wanted him to be like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Whatever. Like, be a little bit more vocal. He just looks sad. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's not a confrontational person. I'm not. I could not. I would be sobbing. But I was just kind of like, dude, like, fight back. Like, don't just go out, like, in a whimper. Like, come on. Like, stand up for yourself more than what you tried to do. Like, just stand up a little bit more, Chris. Like,
no, I completely agree.
Yeah. But my favorite part is when Alana was like, does anyone want to care, or anyone care what I have to say or something? And Jasenia was like, no.
It was more that there were a couple others, I think, that was even like, someone else was like,
Riley was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you're okay. No, thank you.
Yeah, so good.
That was so funny. I was like, that poor girl. I mean, honestly, what does she expect? Like, Jasenia's mad. You're not just going to... But I understand what she was also trying to defend herself. I get it. And then my other favorite part is when they're sitting there and Chris is like, and this is why, to me, I feel like Chris did come on the show to get followers, but not as like blatant as Brendan and Piper. When Chris asked her to leave with him, it just seemed very like he was really into her. Like he really liked her and he was going to follow her on the show or not. And to me, it kind of seemed like it was more her plan to go on together, because maybe they were together off air and it was more like, hey, like this time she was the planner of it, because she immediately was like, Chris, I just got here. Like it wasn't like, and then they left in separate cars. So to me, it felt like he really liked her and he really did care about her, and he wasn't, I mean, he did use Jasenia and I feel bad about that. And I wonder if he did really like Jasenia. But to me, it felt a little bit more genuine that he liked her and wanted to stay around because he liked her. It just felt it's just funny that she was like, I've been here for 24 hours. Like I'm not leaving. Like,
and she looked legit annoyed when he started to get into her car and she's like, this is not your car.
Yeah, to me, I was like, oh, she does. My perception of the whole thing is that she was not really into him. Like to me, it just seemed like she was using him. To get on the show, and was like, oh, well, I'll have a sure thing. Because she was like, I knew people would be upset, but I didn't think they'd be that upset. And to me, it kind of seemed like she was more like, I wonder if she would have spoke her mind, if she would have said like, hey, like, he's way more into me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder how much of it was she was just trying to use him, like, to stick around.
You're probably right.
Because he had the rose this week, so... I wonder what would have happened next week if someone else came in. You don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's like the format of this show. It could, because it's interesting.
Are you liking this season so far?
Yeah, I am. I really am. Overall, I'm digging it. I mean, there are little things that I don't like, but
yeah, I know.
It's gonna happen with no matter what show or season we're talking about here. So
yeah, I listened to. I forget which someone was saying that they weren't really feeling the season because it wasn't at this point. Normally, a lot of the seasons are more about like the couples and people are solidifying, and this season just like there really is no. I guess Serena and Joe, but even that's a little iffy. And we have Abigail and Noah. That's like a little. There isn't really that one solid couple. And I do feel like by this point, there's usually like one or two people left that haven't been in a couple. But this season has been nothing but drama. There really isn't anyone that has been together super strong from the first day. And I like that. Like, to me, like, this show feels super messy. And that's what I want from Bachelor in Paradise. Like, I want it to be a shit show. Like, that's what I watch for. I don't want to see Natasha get screwed over like she did, like that's, or Jasenia, like that's not fair. I don't want to see that. But to me, like, I like that not everyone is all ready to get married and stuff like that, because once the couples reach that point, the show just gets really boring to me by the end. I like that it's like, I literally don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if anyone's going to be together at the end of this. Like,
I say no.
You don't think anyone?
Nope.
I think I know a spoiler that right when the show started, ended filming, that kind of leaked and was everywhere. But I'm really hoping it's not true. I don't know. We'll see. But as far after that, like, I have no idea.
Let me guess. Demi and Grocery Joe end up together.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
That's
a whole nother reality show on
I do not see their personalities though, like fitting. Like
no way.
I don't know. Is there anything else? I think I've reached everything.
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. I just I don't
much.
It's just insane. It's just insane. But I love it. This is by far my favorite Bachelor franchise show.
Yeah. We did get a promo for Michelle's season, which is going to start in October. I think October 17th. I don't know. Some of the teens in October. Which brings me to my last point is that starting next Tuesday, Bachelor in Paradise is only on Tuesday nights because we have Monday Night Football and Dancing with the Stars with Matt James on Dancing with the Stars. We will probably not be recapping that because we did it with Hannah Brown. We're done.
Never again. Never.
Sorry. But we will only have to watch one episode a week, which they're really dragging this out to, I'm pretty sure, up until Michelle's season starts. And supposedly they're filming The Bachelor coming soon. We don't know who it's going to be, but I feel like they have to announce it soon or it's going to leak once they start filming.
Hey, if it's that one jerk off, I'm not even watching the show.
Yes, we have said that if said jerk off, which I saw someone describe him as a salty, what was it? A sad saltine cracker or something like that. I don't know. I will only refer to him as that from now on. Oh, a stale saltine. I'm only referring to him as a stale saltine from now on. Yeah, we will not be recapping the show. I probably will try not to watch the season. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so next week, Wednesday, maybe just one episode of Bachelor in Paradise. Praise the Lord. I need a break. My brain's going to explode. But yeah, Jay Wade, until then, when can the people follow you? Where? Not when.
When?
Anytime.
Wait till I get off work, please. That might be an issue for my employer. Y'all can follow me on the Twitter at jwade1134. That's the letter J, WADE1134. And also follow at the JCast Network on Twitter. And this show is also found on the JCast Network podcast platforms. So check that out as well as other shows that are on this network.
And you can follow me on Twitter at SCBock, SSEABOCK. You can follow the show on Twitter at Go Get That Rose. And if people are there from Twitter, hello, welcome. Thank you for clicking on the link. I've been posting literally everywhere. So yeah, until next time, stay safe. Bye-bye.
You want to hear something funny? The mic wasn't on that whole time.
No way.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow.
So smooth.